Ford just lost 3.1 billion US dollars in the first quarter of 2022, and they are blaming Rivian. But that's not actually true. Rivian isn't at fault here. Really, what Ford should be doing is accepting full responsibility for their own decisions. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Wonderful to have so many subscribers come on board over the last 11 months since we started last year. Ford published its Q1 2022 earnings this week. It showed a net loss of $3.1 billion. The company instantly pointed fingers. It's Rivian's fault. Blame them. It's Rivian. It's not us. No, we didn't do anything wrong. Well, turns out that isn't entirely true. The company says Rivian is it. That's all. The only problems with the company, with Ford's loss, is Rivian. That's it. No one else. Ford are not responsible. However, Rivian shares did plummet, and that did cause a big hit to Ford's profitability over the first quarter. And Ford is sticking to its full year guidance for deliveries, even amid severe production constraints. Essentially, Ford has been saying for years now that it is simply production constrained. So why will this change necessarily next year or the year after that when they're battery constrained? They're going to be constrained in some way, whether it is chips or batteries, probably for the next decade. So I think the excuses need to stop now. They need to stop blaming other people. They blame BYD, they blame Rivian, they blame anyone but themselves. Ford said while the global chip shortage limited their vehicle production in January and February of 2022, March saw an increase in production. Yeah, kind of. The company's wholesale shipments were down 9% on the quarter to around 970,000 vehicles. Automotive News reports that Ford was actually a profitable company prior to investing in Rivian. But in my view, correlation does not always imply causation. The company's adjusted earnings dropped 41% year over year to $2.3 billion, excluding taxes and interest. In North America, Ford made $1.6 billion in Q1 of 2022. During the same quarter in 2021, they earned $2.9 billion. Its performance has drastically suffered. So you can see 1.6 versus 2.9. Their income dropped by nearly 50% versus what was really not a great quarter for Ford last year. Right, we're talking the first quarter last year, comparing this year's quarter to last year's quarter, and that drop from 2.9 billion to 1.6 billion, Ford has no one to blame but themselves, not Rivian, no one else. That's their own production. Now, Ford's performance also suffered year over year in other markets, including our market here in Australia and in South America. All in all, Ford lost $5.1 billion over the course of Q1 2022 on its Rivian stock alone. At the beginning of the year, Rivian shares were at around 102 US dollars. However, they dropped to 50 US dollars by March 31 of 2022, and today the shares opened at just $31.60. And to be honest, I made a video several months back where I pointed out the reality that I thought Ford was getting ready to sell their shares. I thought the reason Ford decided they weren't going to go into any JV, any joint venture with Rivian, they decided against any sort of partnership with them whatsoever. They didn't want to work with him on anything really, was because they were deciding to sell their shares in Rivian. They didn't do that. As a result, well, they've lost a lot of money. So obviously Ford said that the first quarter of 2022 does not accurately depict the potential of its business model. It added that their capability is much stronger than what this quarter was able to prove, which is clearly true. But they have a shit ton of debt. They have a boatload of debt. They need to service that debt. While they service that debt, they also need to build their electric vehicle factories and write off their internal combustion engine facility production lines and retrain staff to build EVs. They're in a pretty precarious position right now. Just in case you're interested, I sold off about 50% of my Ford stock and I put it into another company, and I'll email out to the Patreon subscribers who that company was. Now, looking forward, Ford will continue with its 2022 guidance of 11.5 to 12.5 billion in adjusted EBIT or EBIT. If the company achieves its goals, it could see a 15 to 25% increase over 2021. And Ford estimates that vehicle production will grow in 2022 to reach levels that are 10 to 15% higher than those of 2021. But it's a long way behind. It's a long way behind where it was at this point in 2021. So I think that is, to be honest, false advertising. I think it's highly unlikely, probably virtually impossible for that to actually happen. I mean, if you disagree, let me know in the comment section below how Ford are going to pull this rabbit out of the hat. It sounds like an absolute miracle they're saying will happen this year. CFO John Lawler pointed to some 400,000 vehicles already ordered by the end of March 2022. He also shared that strong pricing has already helped to curb the impact of inflation. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure Ford has plenty of pre-orders. It's not about that right now, is it? It's about the fact of delivering on those pre-orders. If you can't deliver on them, eventually those orders go to someone else. Ford has more than 200,000 pre-orders for the F-150 pickup electric truck, and they're including those in the 400,000. When are they going to deliver on those 200,000 pre-orders? Well, they're saying it's going to have to take them 3 years to deliver on those. So, yeah, it's worth considering that too. What I'm slightly curious about is if Ford is doing so well financially, why did it just slash 580 jobs as part of a company overhaul? Now, the Ford Motor Company reduced its headcount today by 580 workers in Detroit, and all of them are coming from Ford's engineering department. So why do they get rid of 580 engineers? Wouldn't those be the kinds of people that Ford would want on board? I don't know. I must be missing something. Please let me know what I'm missing in the comment section below. And as ever, have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. Great to see you all. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.